BTS News Today. That night, the world screens were once again filled with a name so familiar, yet somehow always capable of bringing new surprises every time he stepped onto the stage. Park Jimin, with all his charm and elegance, once again became the global center of attention after a solo performance of his suddenly went viral. Not only among ARMY, but also in international media that couldn't stop highlighting how he was able to transform an ordinary atmosphere into something magical. The video, which was initially just a few-minute clip from the concert, has now reached tens of millions of views, and behind the spotlight and the roaring cheers, one person's reaction has become a great mystery for many. Yoongi, better known as Suga, that it's no secret that Yoongi often keeps his facial expressions calm, rarely swept away by emotional noise in front of the camera. But for those who truly know him, even the smallest change in his eyes can be more telling than 1,000 words. That night, while the entire world was mesmerized by Jimin's graceful movements, one fansite camera caught a glimpse of Yoongi's shadow among the backstage crowd. A gaze that was unusual, full of meaning, and has now triggered major discussion about what he was truly feeling. The sharp-eyed fans noticed that Yoongi wasn't in the front rows of the audience. He chose a slightly hidden position behind the stage curtains, as if he wanted to observe unnoticed. His hair covered by a black beanie made him harder to recognize, but the video clip clearly showed it was him. When Jimin entered the climax of the song, the camera captured Yoongi taking a deep breath, bowing his head briefly, then lifting his face again with eyes that seemed to glisten. Many speculated, was it merely the reflection of stage lights, or were there tears on the verge of falling? The story became even more intriguing when, after the performance, Yoongi made no comments on official platforms. No congratulations, no short post, not even the simple emoji interactions he sometimes shares. That silence only fueled public curiosity. For ARMY, especially those who understand the dynamics of BTS's friendships, Yoongi isn't one to display emotions openly. He often chooses other ways to show pride, through small actions, private messages, or a silent gaze full of meaning. And this time, that gaze was caught on camera, leaving millions of eyes guessing at the heart of Suga. An online forum in Korea even published a detailed analysis of Yoongi's expression. Some fans interpreted it as deep pride he couldn't put into words. Jimin, long known for his hard work and perfectionism, had transformed himself into a global icon through that performance. For Yoongi, who had so often witnessed Jimin's struggles in the practice room, the viral moment wasn't just a beautiful performance. It was living proof of a friend's long journey. Yet others believed that Yoongi's silence held something more complex. A mix of pride and sadness, perhaps, realizing that time keeps moving and such moments may not always be shared as a complete group. With hiatuses, solo schedules, and each member's individual paths, every success feels like a flash of dazzling light. Beautiful, but bittersweet, because it can no longer fully belong to their shared togetherness. That a source who wished to remain anonymous said that after the concert, Yoongi was seen speaking with Jimin for quite a while in the waiting room. Though the conversation wasn't audible, Jimin's small smile and bowed head were taken as a sign that something emotional had just been exchanged between them. Perhaps congratulations, perhaps a simple acknowledgement from a Hyung who doesn't easily craft sweet words, but whose sincerity makes it more precious. Meanwhile, the public compared other members' reactions. Taehyung was seen clapping enthusiastically, Jungkook even bouncing excitedly as if unable to contain his pride. Namjoon wrote a long heartfelt post on social media, while Jin, despite being in a different phase of life, sent a warm and brief comment. Only Yoongi remained silent online, making his single hidden reaction backstage even more valuable, as though it was a secret understood only by those who looked closely. Moreover, Yoongi and Jimin's relationship has never been one of constant public display. They are often quieter, not as intense as the heavily discussed Jikook or Taekook interactions. But behind the scenes, they are known to share a bond much deeper than playful stage banter. Yoongi has often been the one to listen when Jimin doubted himself, and Jimin has admitted more than once that Yoongi is among those who best understand his silences. So when that gaze appeared, many believed it was the culmination of years of unspoken communication between them. International media also highlighted the phenomenon. Some entertainment journalists described Yoongi's expression as a silent poetry, a poem without words, yet full of meaning. They emphasized that in a group that has endured over a decade of ups and downs, support doesn't always come in loud cheers, but also in quiet, meaningful silence. That army on Twitter even trended the hashtag Yoongi's eyes for Jimin, filling timelines with analyses, GIFs, and slow-motion clips to prove the gaze wasn't just coincidence. One fan wrote, "Yoongi may not say anything, but his eyes spoke more than all the words in the world." Another commented, "That's not just pride. It's the look of someone who's witnessed Jimin's entire journey from the beginning." As for Jimin, he didn't comment much on the members' reactions during post-concert interviews. He simply said, "I always feel supported, even when they don't say anything." A brief statement that seemed like a subtle acknowledgement, reinforcing the idea that he knew what Yoongi had felt that night. Even if the outside world could only speculate, the story grew even more touching as fans recalled their trainee days. Yoongi was one of those who had seen Jimin practice until late at night, often crying because he felt he wasn't good enough. Now, years later, he was watching that same Jimin stand tall on an international stage, creating new history. No wonder his gaze carried so many layers of unspoken emotions. That night, while the world only saw Jimin singing and dancing with unmatched charm, Yoongi saw more than that. He saw the journey, the struggles, the effort, the tears, and all the untold stories behind the camera. His hidden reaction may have lasted only seconds, but for those who understand the meaning of BTS's bond, that moment was undeniable proof that their connection goes far beyond words. Jimin walked with confident steps, but behind his smile lay a long story only a few truly knew. His stage outfit sparkled under the lights, each movement of his hand painting pictures in the air. His voice, warm yet full of emotion, pierced the hearts of everyone listening, many unaware that tears had already fallen from their eyes. Cameras caught faces in the audience, mesmerized, some weeping, some frozen as if afraid to miss even 1 second of the performance. But behind the glittering spotlight, in a corner of the stage most overlooked, one figure stood still. Min Yoongi, in simple clothing, a dark hoodie, and a cap covering part of his face, chose not to sit in the main audience seats. He stood half-hidden, blending into the shadows. He didn't cheer, didn't clap excessively, his expression nearly blank. Yet when the spotlight hit Jimin's face during the chorus, Yoongi lowered his head, took a deep breath, then looked up again with eyes shimmering strangely. A fleeting moment caught by a fansite camera that has since become global discussion. The video spread quickly, just a few seconds, but enough to flood forums with analysis. What did that look mean? Why did Yoongi seem so emotional? Was it pride, or was he holding something else? Questions swirled in people's minds. Jimin himself seemed unaware that such a gaze was directed at him. He was lost in the music, the singing, the cheers. Each note like a prayer, each dance step like a confession. The performance went viral in hours, trending across dozens of countries, highlighted by major media, even praised by international musicians impressed by Jimin's fusion of contemporary dance with emotional vocals.